One thing that I found interesting that this play made me think of, and that I never really like sat down to think about before, was that to the citizens, the soldiers are considered heroes and whatnot, but yet to the soldiers, they don't feel like heroes because they have nightmares and PTSD of the horrific events that happened. And also, they're basically viewed as heroes for killing like innocent people because most of them have families back home and whatnot. And back in the day, most of them were drafted into the war, so it really wasn't their choice to be there. So they would kind of were like both killing each other for no reason, since they like both don't really want to be there. And then two values. One I noticed was family. Like when Elliot and Pop were injured, the first thing they did was call their family, like such as their wives or their parents. And then Elliot says that one of the main reasons he joined the Marines was because of his dad. Another value that I noticed was music. Like Grandpop had his flute, and then Pop liked to sing, and Elliot had his hip hop. And then one word that I wasn't sure what it meant was melancholy. It's a feeling of sadness, typically with no obvious cause. This word pretty much sums up the play as a whole because these soldiers are considered heroes to the citizens, but to themselves they feel sadness and remorse for the people they have killed. In this case, there is an obvious cause for their sadness, which is having like murdered hundreds of people. Yet the citizens are somewhat oblivious to this and see them as heroes. I believe that the American soldiers are depicted as heroes throughout the play, as I just said. And for example, like Elliot got to throw the first pitch at a baseball game and did TV interviews and radio interviews, and they always mention him as a hero that earned a Purple Heart. But there's also a lot of negatives to being a soldier that we don't get to see as citizens. And Elliot talks about having nightmares of the killings, and then also they had rotten feet from wearing their boots like for so many months on end. And then the fifth question, a fugue is a short melody or phrase that is introduced by one part and taken up by others and developed by interweaving of parts. This relates a lot to the play because you see three generations of soldiers that all have similar stories, but they're also pretty different in their own way, and everybody has their own separate experiences. And when you put all these stories together, it makes sense and gives you a better understanding than you would have with just one voice. And then two questions I had. The first one, what is the significance of the flute used by Elliot's grandpa? And then why do you think Elliot decided to go back to war?